Like many of you, we battled depression during life's ups and downs.
Music has always been the one thing that we could rely on to get us through the tough times that we all face.
Follow us on our journey as we discuss the healing power of music,
Interview bands,
break down genres,
review band biographies,
and more.
This is the When Words Fail
Music Speaks podcast
with Blake Mosley
and James Cox.
Hey everybody, welcome to When Words Fail, Music Speaks. My name is Blake Mosley. I'm joined today by my co-host, James Cox. James.
Hello. What's up, man? How are you?
I'm living the dream, as always. This is a really cool interview because this is our first returning guest that we've ever had. This is
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you're our first returning guest. We just surpassed our big 100th episode, and pretty phenomenal. So a lot of firsts here today. This is great. So Travis Gettings, welcome back to the show.
Hey, man.
What up?
What up?
How's it going?
It's going, It's moving on along.
It's going. Yep. Okay, cool.
And you were married. So the last time we had you on, we talked about how you married my cousin. And
yes.
But you guys were married then, right?
Yeah.
Y'all had the actual ceremony and stuff recently. So congrats again, I guess.
Yes.
We
had our redo.
So how is married life now that it's about a year from it?
Yeah, it's
you like it?
Yeah, we're
that's good.
We have a lot of plans for stuff we want to do in the near future, so it's kind of hectic trying to get all that stuff organized and all, but other than that, it's been great.
Cool. Awesome.
I have trail mix stuck in my teeth.
Well, so not only do we have Travis back with us as a returning guest, but he also brought some buddies along. We got Jake and Freddie. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Very, very glad to meet y'all.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Jake, you're on vocals, right?
I sure am.
All right, cool. So we got Jake on vocals, and Freddie, you play guitar.
I do.
Yes.
Do you also play drums? Because I feel like I've seen you in some videos with Travis.
Yes, I dabble around with the drums a little bit because I always played guitar and I didn't have a drummer. So
Gotcha. Cool, man.
It's a struggle.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a struggle.
Yeah.
Well, cool, dude. This is great. We've got everybody on the show today to kind of update us about what's going on with the band, kind of talk about the music coming out and where you guys are at, the name change. Because back when we had you on before Travis, this was still Fangs. So
yes.
you guys have a new name now of Gods and Machines. So this is pretty exciting. I can't wait to dive into that and figure out what's going on. It's a great band name, yeah.
That's literally the greatest band name I've ever heard in my life. Oh, Gods and Machines. Yes.
Oh, cool.
That was Freddie's idea.
Awesome.
Really nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I like the V too. It's not OF, it's OV.
I did that that was kind of my contribution to it because I wanted to annoy all the hardcore black metal fans.
Yeah, because I'm like, okay, well, that's how Behemoth spells all under of and for and whatever, OV. And I think that's an awesome spelling. So if you want to piss off metal, I don't think you did that. I think you brought more metal, black metal people into the, listen to y'all.
Yeah, it would have been the most metal thing ever. So
right. Yeah.
Good. So let's dive into it. Tell us about the name change. How did that come about? Was that was Fangs kind of just kind of like a temporary name, kind of just an idea thrown in there, or how did that happen?
Well, I just feel like because me and Travis were in a band before, and it
kind of like an internet project, yeah.
Yeah, and then he just hit me up one day because it really wasn't. We were just having trouble getting it going. He was like, "Let's just start our own project."
Yeah,
and I was like, "All right." So we started Fangs, and then we released 2 songs with Fangs, and then we started expanding and growing.
Yeah.
And I guess just with the expansion and the growth, and we kind of changed the way that we wanted to sound. So I guess changing the name was the fitting thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
I actually got the name from a Beneath the Massacre song.
Yes, I was wondering about that.
It's
I saw that, and I meant to.
yes,
I
it's the
had them
title of
in
their
my
song.
notes here. Well, that's cool, man. I
They're
love it.
one of my major influences.
Yeah,
So I was like,
Hell yeah.
damn it, Beneath Dying Skies or like some other name, and then I was like, what about this? And Travis was like, yeah, that's the one.
That's it.
So it was really cool.
Everybody
Yeah.
really vibed with it, you know.
yeah. So, like the the songs that you guys released as Fangs, like, are you just kind of like pulling that over to Gods and Machines, or are you just starting fresh? Like, what's going on with that?
We hadn't really talked about it. I was just gonna do the thing on DistroKid because that's the distribution service we use.
Mm-hmm.
Pay the $20 like per song that like if you stop paying for the subscription, they keep it up there forever. And then like just kind of start fresh with we got I think with the intro and outro tracks, which are like a minute, we have like maybe 5 songs we're wanting to release that are 2 of them are basically
Yeah.
done. Like they're written, but you know.
Yeah.
One of them was actually a leftover.
And I had a new one.
What's
Yeah.
up? Oh yeah, that one.
I just wrote a new one the other night.
Yeah,
It's
so
wild.
I need to learn that. But
Yeah. It's very,
Cool.
very like to put it like someone else described it. It's very old Whitechapel sounding.
Yeah.
yes.
Old Whitechapel.
Yeah, like I'm digging what you guys have going on right now. We're gonna insert like a clip of some like one of your demos just in the intro of the song, so people can kind of get a feel for what we're talking about today. So
Right.
but yeah. So James,
Yeah. I do have a question for Jacob.
Yes, sir.
So okay, so I listened to your demo called WBTD, right?
Right.
So okay, so what I want to know is when did y'all decide to go like to take 2 vocal routes? Because on that song you start out with the guttural sound, which is very metal style, and then you got like a like a higher octave, like
Right.
in Necrogobicon. So what made y'all decide to go to 2 routes instead of just one main vocal route?
So to be honest, I'd never recorded highs before, so that was the very first time I've ever recorded highs.
Great.
And just for how fast the tempo was, because all of our other songs recorded, even with Things, was kind of a lower tempo.
Yeah.
To where I felt a lot more comfortable doing lows on it, and I messed around with that track for probably 3 or 4 days while I was writing the song, vocally and lyrically, and I couldn't just get anything to fit doing lows because it's a lot easier to go fast with highs than it is with lows, at least for me.
Right.
So I just said, screw it. If it sounds bad, it sounds bad. I'll go for it. And I think just with the little rough mix that we have on the track, it sounds really good. So I'm really happy with how it came out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's cool to have like a rough demo that you're starting out with that you're just so like stoked about, and then like once you can get in there and kind of polish some things up, it's just kind of watching the.
Well, I know it's definitely gotten us a lot more motivated just with the first demo that we recorded. We knocked out the second one within like a week just from how hyped we got off the first one that we did.
Yeah.
And then like we have a third that we need to decide on the structure.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm just gonna do a bunch of like nerdy audio engineering bullshit to it to get it really. I think like that's all we really have to do for 2 of the songs is retrack guitars.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Okay.
that's it.
Yeah.
And then the other one just kind of figure out the structure and retrack guitars for that.
And I'm guessing Fred played guitars on these tracks, or did he like mostly do drums?
Guitar.
Okay,
A
yeah.
lot of guitar
Just
writing,
guitar.
especially with the third one we're working on was one of his riffs.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's like we're able to like come up with riffs and then like
So revolving door.
yeah, like bounce off of each other.
Right.
Yeah.
So Fred, so how does one, as professional as you play guitar, come up with a riff as heavy as the one we heard?
I just sometimes I'll turn the metronome on and I'll just bang around on it. I'll find something I like that's like from my influences of like Pulled at the Gates and Through the Eyes of Dead and like
Right.
Graves of Valor kind of stuff. And I try to put it with um Travis's really heavy, brutal like deathcore, hardcore, like it's just really heavy. And I'm just trying to blend a little
Yeah.
bit of tech, a little bit of death metal, a little bit of some of that older deathcore metalcore style into it, where it's not too much. Where it's
Right.
like, oh, they're a metalcore band. Well, we're not a metalcore band.
Right.
We're a heavy,
It's kind of one of
heavy
those things
band.
that like
Yeah.
we don't want to try to pigeonhole ourselves into a genre. I know that sounds super cliche, but like if the people that listen to our music want to call us deathcore, that's cool with me. If they want to call us like heavy hardcore or new hardcore or whatever, that's cool with me too. Like I don't I want to let the people digesting the music decide the genre, if that makes sense.
So
Well, I
is
think we all bring so many different influences
Yeah.
from so many
Yeah,
genres
yeah.
that we're into. Because
Yeah.
I mean, I'm more of a death metal kid and hardcore. I'm not super big into deathcore. I mean, there's a couple bands. I mean, I would say a couple of my favorite bands are deathcore, like Traders. That's where I get most of my vocal influence is from Traders. But we all come from different backgrounds and we all have different things to bring. So our sound is so unique. I feel like because of that.
Yeah.
Right. Cool.
Yeah, we just did an episode. So we do like
It's almost like we're not a genre. We're just all gods of machine.
right, yeah.
yeah. I mean, that's the best way to describe it. A lot of times is just kind of like our band is our genre. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We actually just did so we do like cover wars, where we compare songs, different cover songs by different bands. We actually just did an episode on Trader's cover of 5 Minutes Alone by Pantera with Nonpoint, and
Good cover
we
too.
had the opportunity to actually interview Elias from Nonpoint a few episodes back. So while we were talking about it, we were like, "Oh yeah, you did a cover of a Pantera song. Let's dive into it. Let's see what it's all about." So it was cool. I introduced James to Traders,
Yes.
and made a believer of him. I've been listening to them for a while now, so really cool. And kind of I'm trying to get him on the beatdown subgenre. So we're working on that. We did another cover wars of the Acacia Strains cover of Black Hole Sun.
That,
And
that was a good cover too.
yeah, so we're trying to make a believer of James. So
so Jake, you just mentioned Traders, and hearing your voice on the WBTD demo, it sounds like you're really influenced of the death metal vocalists, such as Corpse Grinder, from Cannibal Corpse,
Yeah.
obviously Traders. Who do you like? Who's also like a big influence on you?
Well, I would say Traders is my biggest influence. I've been doing vocals since I was like 14, but whenever I really got into Traders is whenever I started taking it really seriously, whenever I started trying to learn the right ways to do it and developing my own sound. I would say Vincent from the Acacia Strains, another really big influence on me. Chase Mason from Gate Creeper, another really big influence. I feel like on the last track, that we recorded, I tried to go for a more kind of death metal sound, and I tried to do more like what Chase would do. As far as highs go, I just kind of just screwed around, to be honest. I mean, I listened to a lot of Signs of the Swarm back when He Who Shall Not Be Spoken Of was in the band, and that kind of is where I tried to learn my highest and kind of like the snarly piggy sounds, I guess.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, for like a singer question, what is it's easy to learn the highest or the lows starting out? Be like a
I've literally just now in like the last probably month gotten to where I can comfortably do highs.
wow, okay.
But I could do lows all day. Like,
Okay, so lows is easiest for you to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. What so what's the recording process like? We've got the same question for Freddie whenever he gets back, but what is your like recording process look like when you guys do that?
Well, at the moment, I have just been going directly into my interface with amp sims, programming the drums, and then once I get it where I'll structured, I'll like bounce a custom click track, and send it to Jake, and then he records vocals and sends me the raw vocals.
Yeah.
But Sunday, what we're probably gonna do is, I got to restring a couple of guitars, get that fresh sound.
Oh yeah.
But
right.
with one of the lovely stimulus checks, I got a hold of this guy right here.
Yes, sir.
So we can run our tube amps directly. And while Freddie was gone, you could see he's got a Bugera 6260. Is that what it's called? And I have my 5153 50 watt.
It's a Bugera 6260.
So we're probably just
1 watt.
run into this with. A lot of times I use they have an orange cab that's preloaded from 2 Notes, and it sounds incredible. So
yeah,
I have a few other things, so I might simultaneously record amp sound and DI sound. So like if the amp tone isn't quite the way I pictured it when I'm mixing and stuff, I can reamp it later. But I don't know, probably just gonna get together Sunday and figure out the guitar tracking. We're probably just gonna do program drums for the moment. We're working on a situation to record live drums, but
Yeah, cool. I know some bands record vocals first and then music later. Is that your? Do you like to record music first and vocals later, or like how does that work?
we always start with instrumentation first, at least at this point, because I feel, at least from my personal experience trying to do solo stuff, I can write lyrics to music a lot easier than writing music to lyrics.
Yeah.
And it's just like writing the music is the easy part. I give Jake the hard part. Like
yeah, it seems like to write words for music is it's a little bit harder, right?
Yeah.
Jake?
Well, what I do is I try to, at least for this, I actually have a lot of lyrics already written. And what I do is whenever they bounce me a track, I'll listen to it, and I normally just restructure my lyrics just to fit around the music. Because even before we started recording music, just with the band name, I was like, hey, this would be cool. What if we did a lot of our music based around this subject?
Yeah.
And so I just went to writing, and I wrote and wrote and wrote. So now I have a backlog at least. So for whatever we don't put on this EP, I still have music written, so we're not struggling and taking forever to release stuff.
Right.
yeah.
So Freddie, we asked Jake a minute ago what who was his big influence as a vocalist. So who really inspires you as a musician, whether that be a drummer or a guitarist or whoever?
Man, that's a tough one. It's like a mixture of like a couple really great guys, like Dynamic. I'm really a big fan of like older Metallica.
Mm.
I'm 34, so I kind of grew up listening to Pantera, Metallica. Um, but my main influences now it's mostly the guy Brandon Ellis from Black Dahlia Murder and
Yeah.
like Paul Becker from all the early Between the Buried and Me albums. He's a big influence. Um, and just everything the Acacia Strain plays.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, this band is awesome.
Everything that the Acacia Strain plays is a big influence.
Yeah, that's an awesome like mix of influences for sure.
They're
a
like one
nice
of my
melting
favorite
pot.
bands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our
I
whole
do-
band are just big simps for the Acacia Strain, to be honest.
Yeah, honestly. They're one of those
all are.
bands that's evolved very gracefully and kind of stayed slightly ahead of the curve, but not too far ahead of the curve, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great live band too, man. I saw them at Warped
Oh,
one
yeah.
time. Just like, oh my god. Just blew
I
my
took my
mind.
wife to see them, and she just got mad that Vincent was spitting water the entire time.
You know, it's funny. My wife is actually a fan of them too. I mean, she's not like a hardcore fan or anything, but like she really likes Tactical Nuke. Like that's her jam.
Oh, yeah.
And she's just like, I just like that the song gets slower and slower and slower. And I was like, yeah, it's great, right? Like the rest of their stuff is wonderful too. You should give it a try.
Well, it's nice whenever your significant other's really into the music too. Because my wife, we went to go see. It was the Eternal Nightmare Part 2 tour, and it had Traitors and Spy and the Acacia Strain on that
Ooh.
tour.
Oh,
And my wife was getting down, and I had to hold her back a couple times because she, some people hit her a little too hard, and she was trying to go
Oh,
after
yeah.
them.
It doesn't
Yeah,
surprise me at all.
Yeah. So I do have a question for Travis or Jake. So I just learned now that the band Fear Factory is based on fear of anything, right? So when somebody says I've got the machine, I've got the machines, what's the first thing that they should know about you and what the band is primarily about?
I mean, I know the name kind of when we were throwing out names for the name change, it resonated with us because like a lot of like the social issues going on in the world nowadays and stuff.
yeah.
So that was one. So
Yeah.
we do kind of want to have that as like a kind of like how Fit for an Autopsy does a lot of like
Yeah.
more meaningful lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of want to, but then like I just want to write really heavy breakdowns too. So
Yeah.
Well, lyrically, I like really ignorant songs that just make you want to punch people. So I'm trying to combine that with talking about social issues because I know one of the songs on our demo, I feel like I kind of combined punching people with talking about kind of like wage inequality and kind of how the corporations pretty much steal all of our money, even though we're the people that make them the money.
Right.
And I feel like it kind of ties into the band name, kind of how they're gods and we're machines.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Very, very good point. Holy shit. That's awesome. Yeah, because I like that.
It's just cycle.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
Yes.
real.
Ongoing cycle.
Yeah.
So Travis. Okay. So I have a hard. Okay. So we talked about this subject on our last podcast. This guy right here can't stand TikTok. Okay. So he thinks TikTok is like Avril League or something. He's big time right now. That he's part of the most music show ever, right?
I'm good with that. Like, as long as pop punk is coming back, and if it's through TikTok, which that episode will come out soon. We talked about the whole pop punk revival and how it's like because of TikTok. So that's coming out soon. That was an interesting conversation. So,
But
yeah,
you told me that you have a TikTok now that you want to tell everybody about.
I've been kind of putting a little more time into it because I was just a watcher,
Yeah.
and then I was like, well, I could post these little guitar videos, and they might, start
Yeah.
getting views, and they're doing pretty well. I get like, what would you say, like 400 to 600 views
Wow.
per TikTok.
That is
But like,
yeah.
the good thing about that format is Instagram tried to get a little piece of that cheddar. And I don't know what it is about Instagram, but when you post the reels or whatever,
yeah,
they get so many more views than anything else.
yeah.
So like I have some on Instagram that have like 3,000 plus views.
Really.
I don't know how or why. Just the reels get the views. So I'm like, well, if I'm filming in this format, I might as well put them on TikTok too.
Yeah.
Right.
So you gotta, especially for music nowadays, like you gotta use social media as tools. Like it's all a tool to, you gotta cast a big net to bring people to your little island, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
You've got some really like inspiring stuff too, and like a big thing about this particular podcast that we do is we talk about music, of course, but kind of like in relation to like our depression. Like me and James kind of have like a issue with depression, and that's a big part of this whole concept of the show. So you've got some really inspiring stuff. Like are you kind of dealing with that too? Some anxiety and some depression of some form.
It's kind of like looking back on like the last decade or so, because like when I was 18, my mom passed away between my first 2 semesters in college, which if you're wondering why I never graduated, it's part of it. But anyhow, it's kind of like just looking back on all those years where it was like so hard, emotionally and financially, physically, pretty much. It's cool to be able to see how far I've come and see how far I've been able to grow and get through those things. And it's kind of like, I feel like I have this responsibility to give back, because like, kind of like that conversation of being the person that 15-year-old you needed. Like,
Yeah.
28 now, and it's like, it's just being able to find the opportunity to break down like the stigma with mental health awareness and stuff, and like, so people can stop being stubborn and like realize it's okay to go get the help you need, if that makes sense.
Exactly.
Yeah, we had Darren Marler from the Weird Darkness podcast on a few episodes back as well. Talked a lot about that. He doesn't have a music podcast, but like he's a big advocate for mental health and things like that. So in fact, he kind of like got on to me a little bit because he was like, have you been like officially diagnosed? And I was like,
No.
no.
But yeah.
Not exactly. And but he was like, we were talking about it, and he was like, yeah, it makes sense. That's exactly what it sounds like. And but yeah, I think that's important, and I need to do better about that as well. But music's kind of my escape, and James, let's go ahead and ask this question while we're talking about it. But like, with each one of you, like what, and Freddie, if you want to go first, what is like your go-to song? Like if you're just feeling either pissed off or down or just, or whatever, like what is your, or if it's an album, like what is your go-to when you're feeling kind of like that?
When I'm feeling like that, but Frank's first album, 3750.
Okay,
Told a lot. Saw them get played a lot of stuff on 3750, and they played a lot of stuff off Deadlock. that whole era of music into a good place. So whenever I'm down, I'll pop that in or just pull it up on my iTunes and just
Well, that's the way,
bask
right?
in it.
Yeah. My wife also really likes Car
And
Bomb. That's her.
it really helps. It really
I
helps.
learned how to play that on accident, by the way.
Oh, accident.
Nice. I'm a better guy.
I did learn to
I was
play
tr-
songs on accident.
Yeah, we did. When I was playing the drums.
I think I was like, I was trying to write riffs one night. And I filmed it and sent it to Freddie.
Yeah, you
and
played
I was
Car
like,
Bomb.
this sounds like
And I was
something.
like,
And he's like, yeah, it's Car
Yeah.
Bomb. And I was like,
Oh, you're like, holy crap! What? Yeah.
Great intro for for that one too. Cool. Yeah, I'm into
Yeah,
that.
a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jake, how about you? What's your
Yeah.
go-to?
I really like the album Anger Issues by Traders. It has really good songs on it. And I think Tyler Shelton's songwriting is really good, especially for being in the genre they're in. He's
Yeah.
such a good lyricist. I also really enjoy, if I'm feeling down, sad boy pop punk.
I feel that.
Put on some neck deep, like
Yeah,
good lord. I remember I cried
Yeah.
to the song December by Neck Deep.
dude, it's a good
hell
one.
yeah.
For sure. Like we talked about that too when we talked about our pop punk episode. We talked about like the different formations of pop punk and like how there was this period where it was the most like depressing lyrics and bands out there, like Story So Far, Neck Deep, Wonder Years, all those guys was just like, well, I'm very bummed out now because mine was always I Just Want to Sell Out My Funeral by Wonder Years. So I was like, I get it, man. Like
That's a good one.
That's me. It's like it's totally me. Sad boy pop. It's fun.
And I also like a lot of, I guess, like the newer kind of, I don't want to say underground because I mean it is big, but like country, like Tyler Childers. Because I feel like it's not the same country. Like it actually has really good lyrics. Like I feel like Tyler Childers could be a pop punk artist if he just changed around the instrumentation.
Yeah.
And I really like Sturgill Simpson a lot too. So I'm kind of all over the place as far as genres. I can listen to anything and get sad or get angry.
Yeah, there's a lot of those guys. It's like this new. I'm trying to think of what the name of the song is. I'm trying to look at Zach Bryan. He's another.
I
one.
love Zach Bryan. Yeah,
he's so good, man. But like his lyrics are so like, and Rustin Kelly, like both of those guys are very like, oh man, I am in the feels like big time, and I can't bring myself out of it. But like I'm totally here for it. Like Whiskey Myers is great. Allie's dad is really into Whiskey Myers and Tyler Childers and all those guys. So like that was like my introduction to that, and I was like, whoa, there's this like really cool
part of country.
emo country that's out there, and I had no idea even existed. And it's great. It's
the alternative.
I was about to say
that. That's such a great phrase. Travis, what about you, man? What's your go-to?
So if I'm like mad or annoyed, like really ignorant hardcore, like Kubla Khan or like Two Piece or Tsunami. Yeah.
What about Hunt the Dinosaur?
Yes. That's a different move. That's a different mood for me though.
So I just introduced James to Hunt the Dinosaur the other day too. He did a video. So on our YouTube channel, we do video reactions too, or James does. And I was like, dude, you got to watch. What was it? Baked? I think it was Baked.
Yeah, Baked. That's so horrible. I'm like, what the hell else you got me into, man?
We're trying to see if we can get him on the show. Like I was like,
oh yeah.
We
that'd be
reached out
sick.
to him. We would love to talk to him. But yeah, continue. Sorry.
But if I'm like sad or like want to feel sad for some reason, lately, well, the Wonder Years is definitely one, but more so lately, Modern Baseball, and Free Throw.
Yeah, dude, yeah, that's it. That's It's that
I'll
pop
listen to
punk
those
shit.
bands, dude, and get sad about stuff I already got over like a
Right.
long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Like but that's the power of music, right? Like that's just
Yeah.
just what happens. Like it can either trigger a memory and it just sucks you back in,
Yeah.
or whatever. Like things I haven't been bummed out about since I was like 17, and then I hear anything by the story so far, and it takes me back. I'm like, oh my god, here we go again.
That's why I
Yeah.
can't listen to like the 2010 to like 2015 era of like rise core bands, just because it
Yeah.
takes me back to high school and just makes me really sad.
Yeah, like that Ask Me Alexandra and all that
Of Mice and Men.
of Mice and
Oh,
Men.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sleeping
But talking
Pilot.
about pop punk, have you guys listened to the new Water Parks album?
Not yet.
You should. I listened to it the other day. It is so good.
Is it low? Is
I
low
have to
key?
check
Is
that
that
out.
is that one? Of the
Yeah,
good songs?
low key as hell. Yeah,
Okay, so
yeah.
I
That
found
whole album is so good.
there's a YouTube channel. I think it's called Punk Rock. We talked about it, James, and I can't even remember what the name of the thing was. But
Punk Rock NBA.
NBA, that's it. Yeah, and he made a playlist.
Finn?
Pop Punk is back, and that song popped up on there. And I remember the song "Stupid for You" that came out a few years ago, and I was like, oh yeah, Water Parks is cool. That guy's got blue hair. That's nice. And I'm digging the new stuff though. That's good. I'm gonna have to check into that a little bit more. We also we also talked about Olivia Rodrigo, and I don't know if you guys have any clue who she is. But she's like a new like Disney star. She's
Did she do the song "Good for You"?
Yeah, so we talked about
Yeah.
that. I was like, is this Avril Lavigne? And like my nephew was playing it the other day, and I was like, dude, who is this? And he's like, the High School Musical show on Disney Plus. And I said, yeah,
That's her.
that's her. And I was like,
You're
no
like,
way,
what?
get out of here.
Yeah.
So Allie's all over that too. She's been playing the crap out of some Olivia Rodrigo. So who knew, man? Pop punk.
No.
The new wave's really good. I really like the new wave, and I feel like TikTok's really pushing the new wave.
Yeah, it big time. It's very responsible for what's happening, and then of course MGK and his Travis Barker is like all over everything that's coming out to every collaboration with these hip hop artists that are kind of venturing into that new genre, and it's cool to see, man. Because I've been a pop punk kid for
Ever.
my whole
As
life.
long as
Yeah,
I've known you.
yeah, like I started playing drums at 10, and like Blink was my favorite band, and so I've just kind of been following that as it's evolved over the years, and like now my nephew, who me and him haven't like I don't know, been into the same things in like years, so it's cool to like. He's like, yeah, Machine Gun Kelly. I'm like, yeah. And he's like, Travis Barker. I was like, come on, dude, seriously, like,
I hear, man. Yeah.
you know who you're talking to.
Right.
But yeah, so shows are coming back. That's awesome. We're starting to see like more and more festivals announced, and some tour dates being posted by all these
Hey,
bands.
if you guys can hear me, I bad Wi-Fi, so I'm guys on the flip side. I really
Okay.
enjoyed it. Appreciate it for having me on.
Yeah,
Later,
dude.
bud.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming on. We enjoyed talking to you.
Jacob, James, peace out.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Cool.
Yeah.
So with that being said, like, do you guys have anything lined up for any gigs or anything like that, or are you just focusing on getting the music out there first?
We're definitely working out the kinks.
Gotcha.
But I'm from North Carolina, so I mean I'm still a ways away. But I know some guys that own venues up here, and I know Travis knows some people down in South Carolina. So I mean it's definitely been in the talks. 'Cause I've talked to some people up here, and I know some people in some local bands up here that are pretty big that want us to open for them. So definitely, whenever we get music out, we'll definitely be getting around.
That's kind of how this thing got to where it's at now, is because like Fangs was supposed to be like a side project, and then we're like, kind of want to play live. Let's get some people together. And then we started writing more music, and it started evolving. And we are like, let's change the name.
Yeah.
I actually like when we thought Freddie was gonna be drumming. Like, I got a whole setup, did a whole bunch of research to be able to run my guitar signal into my amp and Freddie's amp to have
Yeah.
a stereo. Like, just have the sound on each side of the stage.
Yeah.
And as soon as I got it working, we found a drummer.
Oh no.
So you guys do have a drummer?
Yes.
Cool. What's his name? I didn't even know you guys had a drummer.
He goes by Squeak. It's a
Squeak.
guy, it's a fella in Manning that Freddie knows real well. He's known him
Okay.
for a long time.
Yeah.
He's super hype about writing music, but he's not as hype about playing live. But
Yeah.
we're trying to ease him into
Yeah.
the idea.
Yeah, it's two
But-
totally different worlds too, and I get that. I've been a part of the writing process for a few different just little bands that I've been in, and I don't feel like I contribute as much. Like, I'm just kind of sitting there and I'm just like, yeah, what do you guys have? I'll just kind of fill in whatever. But I love playing live. Like, it's so fun.
Yeah.
We're talking with a guy now from church who's, he's wanting to do just some like once a month gigs or whatever, just like at the brewery or anywhere here in town, like restaurants and things like that. So we're talking about that, and like we're just getting so like, oh dude, this is gonna be so great. I can't wait. I'm gonna go buy this, I'm gonna buy that, and it's just, not even like in the works yet, like big, like at all. It's just like a few texts we've been sending out, and
Yeah.
so like,
Well,
complete
if
opposite
Squeak
side.
doesn't want to play live with us, we could use you if you wanted to.
Oh,
I have to bust out the double bass pedal, man.
that's right.
Hell yeah, dude.
But
It's at my mom's house, so I'm gonna have to come out there.
I'll go get it right now.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, Travis lives next door to my mom, so
Yes.
yeah. That's easy access for him, right?
yeah, I gotta
Um,
come out there anyway and get some
Right.
stuff.
Yeah. Before we started recording, Blake, I told Travis and Jacob that I saw Steel Panther
Yeah.
last month, right?
Right.
But during the virus thing, I attended two virtual concerts, which is one with Avatar,
Yeah.
the second one was Demon Hunter.
Yeah.
Question for Travis and Jake: have you ever attended a virtual concert? Yeah, or like during the pandemic? No, okay,
I
kinda
watched
just forget about them.
but
I watched the Twitch stream for the band Waste whenever they
Okay.
released their new album. If you haven't checked out Waste, definitely go check them out. They're really cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. James sent me, and I still haven't had a chance to like really view it yet, but he sent me the live stream of Devil Wears Prada.
yeah, and I did attend that concert too. That was
Yeah,
awesome.
it was like a playthrough, I believe, of
Right.
the zombie EPs.
Right.
So, and
And other songs, yeah.
like
That new
I
one
remember-
is.
That new one.
Yeah, like the original one that came out. I mean, Walking Dead was like
Oh yeah,
back then,
yeah.
right? And then
aware,
the comic
yeah.
book, and I've got like the comic that came with the EP at my mom's house. I'm gonna have to get it and put it up like in the living room or something. But yeah, I didn't know. I've seen like August Burns Red and a few different bands like that are doing these live stream. Fit for a King doing live streams and stuff like that. And,
Dance, Gavin Dance, Knock
Yeah.
Loose.
I heard Seven Dust did one because my friend that and he paid like only $11 for it. And he's like, it's like great, like the best show ever, man. $11.
Suicide Silence did that whole world tour.
Yeah.
virtually.
Like a virtual world tour where it was like geo-locked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And only people in that area could buy access to it. I was like, that's
That's coolest thing.
crazy.
It's amazing that they can do that now, you know? I mean, anything's possible.
Yeah.
And I didn't think I could get into that. Whenever they first start, I think the first time I ever saw a live streamed concert, it was COVID had just like erupted in the States, right? and it was around St. Patrick's Day last year, and Dropkick Murphys they were advertising this huge like St. Patrick's Day concert, but it was virtual, and I was like, I don't know, man, that seems kind of weird. Like, what takes all the fun out of like being in the pit and just being like leaving, and then like the next day you can only hear out of like one ear.
Those days.
I miss those days, man. Yeah, the last show I went to was Emory, Hawthorne Heights, and two openers, but I can't. Bad Luck was one, and I can't remember what. Counterparts, I believe, was the other.
Ooh.
Yeah, like opening for Emory and Hawthorne Heights, and it was a great show.
That would be good because Counterparts really doesn't come to the States too terribly much. Just because I know they don't make a ton of money whenever they come.
Yeah,
it's hard because you got to get work visas and all that.
Yeah, it was a great show. We had a great time, and then everything. That was January of 2020, and then
was it loud?
Yes, it was at the Senate in Columbia,
Oh, God.
and that's a great venue.
Yeah.
And
there's only one band that almost blew my eardrum.
Yeah,
it's Slayer. I got the opportunity to see Slayer before they finally retired. RIP to Slayer. Hopefully they'll come back.
Yeah,
but that was the only band that almost blew out my eardrum. And I listened to my favorite song, "It's Just a Disciple," and got out of there because I knew any longer I wouldn't be able to hear anymore.
Yeah, Butcher Babies was mine. I saw Butcher Babies at Carolina Rebellion.
Great band, yeah.
And it was, I don't understand how it could have been so loud at an outside venue, but Butcher Babies, like, I don't know, man. I wasn't even up close to the stage. I was just like kind of in passing, but I was like, oh, cool, and stopped and watched. I was like, oh my God, it's so freaking loud.
I think the loudest band I've seen was Knocked Loose.
Man, dude, I would kill to see Knocked Loose. Yeah,
you got to do it when you can, man.
We were about to go see them whenever they were touring with Parkway Drive, but the tour keeps getting canceled.
Parkway Drive, yeah.
I think me and Jake's last concerts were the same night, but they were different concerts.
Yeah, my last concert was March the 1st of last year, and I almost lost my hearing in that concert. It was the Root of All Evil tour by Spite. It was Dealer, Varials, Orthodox, I Am, and Spite. I think there might have been someone else in there. I don't remember.
Body
that was no, it wasn't Body
Snatcher.
Snatcher.
They weren't on that tour.
But that was insane.
Mine was
like a brutal concert.
Fuming Mouth, Chamber, Creeping Death.
Yeah,
Creeping Death played that tour.
Rotting Out and the Acacia Strain. And I had never heard of any of those bands except the Acacia Strain, and now I avidly listen to all of them.
Oh, yeah. That's the beauty of going to shows, because I think everybody misses that, because you see like an opener band and they're like, "Holy crap, that's great! I want to everything you got," And I think people miss that going to live shows because virtual concerts, it's just like them, like the main band playing. You don't get to feel the atmosphere of the crowd and see the opening band. It's just great. You
don't get punched in the face,
right? Yeah,
or kicked in the head,
right? And your girlfriend doesn't, go and kick men's asses.
Well, the last show I went to, the new vocalist, well, I guess he was just filling in for Various, jumped off the stage and just hit me right in the face with his shoulder, and I think he broke my nose. It was awesome.
I told you guys wrong, by the way. It wasn't Counterparts. As soon as it came out of my mouth, I was like, was it Counterparts? Maybe it wasn't Counterparts. Vagrants was the name of the band, not Counterparts. I don't know why I said that. But great show. Yeah, Emory, Hawthorne Heights.
Yeah, I was like, maybe Counterparts could be a part of that, but it's a...
Yeah, as soon as it came out of my mouth, I was like,
nope.
Maybe not. Maybe that's not who it was. It's been so long, and I need to go to a show really bad.
Yeah.
Before that, we saw Cage the Elephant me and Allie
Yeah.
went up to North Carolina and saw
Hell yeah.
Cage the Elephant, and I got introduced to a band called Winnetka Bowling League, I believe is the name of the band, and they were they were the only opener. But because Cage the Elephant played like a crazy long set, but they were so good, and the opener was great, and I got into that band. So like that's why I encourage people all the time, go see the opening bands. You have no idea who you could get introduced to just by supporting either a local band or a small touring band that's just, filling in that space. That's how I got into
Yeah.
Let Live, and how I'm now into Fever 333 was because I went to Charleston at the Music Farm or Barn. I can never remember which one, because
I
the
think it's
Senate used
Music
to be
Farm.
Music Farm or Barn or Farm or whatever.
Oh.
But somewhere in Charleston, and it was August Burns Red, Silverstein, Texas in July, and then a band no one had heard of called Let Live that was opening the show. And I'm in line for some Silverstein merch, and I hear this dude like screaming at the top of his lungs from the stage, and the band starts coming in, and I got out of line because I was like, my God, what is happening? And, Jason from Let Live and Fever, he's climbing all over the place, anything he can get his hands on. He's wearing this bright tie-dye shirt. At the time, he had kind of like, I don't know, I guess I kind of still do it too, but like the shaved head and like the top of the hair was like crazy long.
Yeah.
And it was like platinum blonde, so like I can't even like see what the guy really looks like just from a distance. So like this really tall, lanky, tie-dyed shirt guy with long blonde hair only on the very top of his head, like flopping all over the place, and he's screaming at the top of his lungs. And I'm just like amazed by what's happening. And I got into that band super hard right after that. Fake History is one of my favorite albums now. I think they just had like the 10th anniversary edition LP that they just released for it too. And all from going to see the opening band. It never, I never get disappointed going early. Some people are like, I'll wait till whoever actually comes on. It's just, no, man, you've got to go support those opening acts.
Yeah.
Well, that's how I got into Spite, because
Yeah.
they opened the Rage Fest tour for Attila and Suicide Silence, and
Yeah.
like I added like 2 Spite songs to my playlist just to like kind of be familiar with them. And
Yeah.
then I get there, and then there's this lanky tall dude in overalls on stage screaming as loud as he can, and I'm like, what is this? And then I got into that band. That is one of the best live bands, man, I tell you.
For real,
Man.
they're insane live. I saw Spite on that same tour.
At a different show, right, or something.
Yeah, I went to the one in Virginia, I think.
I went to the one in Charlotte.
Nice. Yeah, we remember when Sent by Ravens was a thing back in the day.
Yes.
I remember, Travis. So, all right. So we had. So speaking of going to see the opening bands, I went with Travis Curry to Charleston to see Sent by Ravens, and there was a little band named Embracing Goodbye that was opening for them, and I was like, another instance where I'm like, what is happening? I'm so like in love with this band, and this is the first time I've ever heard them. Instantly went and bought a shirt. They had like a V-neck that had like a guitar on it, lightning bolts like coming out, and it was like Embracing Goodbye shoots lightning out of guitars or something like that. And I bought their first album, Rock and Roll's Not Dead, and got to kind of like meet the guys. And then like every time I saw Sent by Ravens after that and Embracing Goodbye was opening for them, I just kind of got to like know them better. And they always put on a great show. Me and Casey, the drummer, kind of like kept in contact over the years. And we actually had him on the podcast a while back. And we talked about that show at Harmony Church here in Sumter when the power kept going out. James, Travis was at that show.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, Travis was
yeah.
at that show. Yeah, and
That was also one of the loudest shows I've ever been to in my life.
this small little gymnasium that at this church, and
It was bigger than New Brooklyn.
definitely bigger than New Brooklyn.
Anything's bigger than
My
living
living
room's
room's gonna be
bigger.
bigger than
Yeah.
New Brooklyn if we arrange it.
Brooklyn needs to shut down or something and just
It's
move.
the CBGBs of the South. I've heard Norma Jean declare that, and it was like, yeah, that makes sense. Everybody's got to come to New Brooklyn and play it at some point. That band was so loud that all the bands, My Brother's Keeper opened for them, and they kept like knocking the power out, and Embracing Goodbye definitely did. And Scent My Ravens got on stage, and the power would go out. But the cool part was they'd knock the power out, and then everybody would just like keep singing the songs. So
they
like,
kept playing too. Like you could
they
hear
tried
the.
to keep playing as much as possible, and they would play a little bit, like the drums would keep going, just because, I mean, that's all you could hear was just the drums, and then eventually they would stop and just everybody's just singing at the top of their lungs. It was the most cool and powerful thing. But I'm sure like everyone who was kind of like from the church that was kind of hanging out and making sure everything was going smoothly was probably like, dear God, these guys got to wrap this up because they're gonna blow something.
That was also the beginning of my obsession with like Mesa dual rectifiers.
Yeah,
because that's what they used.
Yeah,
I was like,
was
those
a
things
fun
are
show, man.
so loud and they have so much gain, but they cost
Yeah.
so much money.
All right.
I'm gonna pull this note back up here. I think that might be James. I don't have anything else. Do you have any other questions?
I do.
Oh.
Where can our listeners find you all at your social medias? Because I know Travis just made a TikTok, so you can do that. And I think you have Instagram too and Facebook, or where can people find y'all?
I try to keep all my stuff pretty consistent, so it's pretty much all at the Travis Wayne, all lowercase.
Yeah.
And then the band is at Of Gods and Machines. I don't think there's anything extra on there.
Right. And I'll link it at the bottom so
Yeah.
let's just keep it all easy. But yeah, because I find it easier to have one handle for everything. Just
Yeah.
all.
And then I have a link tree in my Instagram bio that links to like YouTube, Twitch, TikTok,
Everything.
all that.
Cool.
How about you, Jacob?
You can find me on Instagram. It's at JAGolden7. And then Travis inspired me to start TikTok. I'm a dog groomer. So I post videos of the dogs that I groom on TikTok, and I put really cringy metal behind the videos.
Nice.
So you can find me on TikTok at the Metal Dog Groomer.
Nice. So Travis, we gotta get him on there. Just so you gotta help me talk him into it, man. Come on, it's all about TikTok, So,
Even if Squeak doesn't want to play live, like if you want to get out there and
Get
There
my
you
double
go.
bass
throw
skills
down
up
for a
to-
couple
up to
times.
par. I try to
Same.
I try to incorporate as much of my metalcore drumming as I can at church, just because I don't have anywhere to set up my drums and play right now. So all my stuff's still in the
Yeah.
loft. I'm still working on my drum shed, and so
And that's
like,
a ride.
yeah, it's gonna be a lot. There's all kind of crap. Apparently, there's termite damage out there now, and I'm like, oh great, what else we
Oh.
got? So yeah, so it's a work in progress. But once I get all that set up, I'll be able to like throw on some music again, throw my headphones in, and just kind of jam for a while. But like I try to do some stuff at church, like while so like I've tried to use the double bass pedal that they have up there, and it's just like I can't like fit it in. It just doesn't make sense. So I'm gonna
I feel you
pull
on
back
that.
But in between the songs, like while everybody's sound checking, like I try not to be that obnoxious drummer that just won't shut up while everybody's tuning. So, but every now and then they'll be like, "All right, let's check your kick real quick," and I'll just go like I got to get out of my system.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Well, cool. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, James.
Right on.
Oh man, I was going to just thank Travis and Jacob for coming on. This has been a real pleasure for us,
Yeah.
and thank you, Travis, again for coming back.
Yeah.
And
And
returning guest.
Freddie also said, he was really thankful for letting us do this, but his like internet was going in and out. He was kind of
Yeah, that's
There was a
fine.
little bit of a delay, but it's all good. We
Okay,
can
thanks.
we can fill in those gaps and fix that. But yeah, Freddie, if you're listening, thank you for coming on as well. Jake, thanks for being here, man.
It was a
Travis,
blast.
yeah, dude,
Hell yeah.
pleasure. And everybody go check out Of Gods and Machines.
Yeah.
And hopefully some more music coming soon. Spotify, anything
Shooting
like that.
for
Is that in the
like
works?
not yet. We're
Not
shooting
yet.
for like an August single drop.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about it super in depth, but like I feel like once we retrack guitars, Waterboarded to Death will be ready.
Cool.
So
That's
we
a
could
good song,
probably just
too.
pick a
That's a good
date.
song. Yeah, absolutely.
That's a
Um,
very good song, dude. I love that song.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so keep at it, man. You're
Yeah,
going to
dude.
do awesome stuff,
Awesome.
All right, guys, thank you for listening to the show, and until next time, when words fail,
Music speaks, everybody.
bye bye, y'all.